Okay, sorry, my mouse wasn't working there. So, when was the last time you ate Korean food? The last time I ate Korean food was a few weeks ago when my friend and I had Korean barbecue for dinner. So, practice questions for you. When was the last time you gave someone a card? Oh, the last time I gave someone a card was 2 weeks ago when it was my father's 70th birthday. So I gave him a birthday card. Pretty easy questions once you practice them. When was the last time you visited a relative? If you don't know, relative means your greater family. Not just your mother, father, brother, sister, but your aunt, your uncle, your grandmother, your grandfather, your cousins. So, actually, apart from my parents, the last time I visited a relative was about 3 weeks ago when I went to spend the night at my cousin's home. He lives about an hour and a half drive from me, so I went to visit him. We had dinner together and then watched some TV and just had a chat. When was the last time you went to the cinema? The last time I went to the cinema was actually last weekend when I went to watch the new Oceans movie, Oceans 8, at a cinema with my housemate. Okay, so those ones are pretty easy to practice, but if you're not familiar and you haven't practiced, sometimes people struggle. So make sure you practice those and try to copy that structure. Okay, we're looking at a couple of structures here, how interested and how important. So again, these are grammar structures which a lot of people are not familiar with. They're not normal common questions in day-to-day English. So when you first hear these, it can be really confusing to a lot of people. Let's have a look. How interested are you in music? Well, I'm not so interested in music, to be honest. I mean, I like music, but I have many other hobbies that I prefer, and so I don't really buy much new music. I'm quite interested in music, and I usually listen to music in the car or when I'm on the bus, I'll have my headphones on. But actually, I don't really spend a huge amount of time like listening to different music and buying CDs. It's just something I do whenever I'm out from my home. Oh, I'm very interested in music, and I spend lots of my free time listening to new music. I love going to concerts and hearing new bands. I like to download the latest songs and listen to all different kinds of music. So you see, you've got not very excited, a little bit excited, very excited. Not interested, quite interested, very interested. With these ones, you might say, to be honest, I'm not interested in, or actually, I'm not interested in, could come before those ones. Okay, so how are you, that word there, whatever it is, how good are you at something? I'm not very good at it. How interested? I'm not very interested. I'm very interested. You should know that when you see the how. That kind of grammar structure is not the most common kind, and it does confuse a lot of students the first time you hear it. Let's have a practice. We've got 3 ones to practice here. So first of all, how interested are you in fashion? I'm not interested in fashion at all. I really just buy clothes that are comfortable and don't make me look stupid or like make people stare at me. Pretty simple answer. It's okay to say that. A lot of people will say this kind of answer. Now, if you're very interested in fashion, you would probably say this. Oh, I'm really interested in fashion. I always buy the latest fashion magazines and I study the clothes that celebrities and models and pop stars are wearing. And if I can, I'll sometimes go to the shops and see if I can get the same style of clothes as the people from my favorite pop band or from the latest movies and see if I can kind of copy their fashion when I buy my clothes. That would be the high level of very interested in. If you're very interested in fashion, You're buying fashion magazines. You're studying the clothes of people in the fashion industry. Okay, so that's the top level. Remember that. A lot of people say, oh, I'm very interested in fashion. I like to be fashionable and buy fashionable clothes. That doesn't mean you're very interested in fashion. And that's the mistake a lot of people make with that question. They say very interested when they probably mean quite interested. Okay, how interested are you in travel? I'm really interested in travel because I pretty much spend most of my time saving money and earning money so I can then travel to a new country. And every year I like to have at least one overseas holiday to a new country so I can try the new foods and to the new fashion, the clothes and the music and the culture of that country. And I love to just travel, and I would travel the rest of my life if I had enough money. Most people are going to be interested in this. And a lot of people say very interested in it, but they don't travel and they haven't traveled. So what you could say, if you like the idea of traveling and you want to travel, is that, well, I really love travel, the idea of traveling, but unfortunately, I just don't have the time and the money yet. But in the future, once I start earning more money and can take my holidays from work every year, I'd love to travel to different countries in the future. You can talk about how you don't have the ability now, but you really do want to do this in the future. Okay, last one here. How interested are you in history? Well, I'm quite interested in history. I mean, I do like to watch a TV show that's quite historical, like a historical drama, for example, Vikings, a TV show from America that's about, it's kind of like a story, but it's set in a historical time. But I don't really read a lot of history books or study history outside of that. I might like to watch a documentary if a good one's on TV, but not much more than this. Okay, so I think history is a lot of people, again, you're probably not going to say very interested in history unless it's actually like your job or your major and you're studying history. Because a lot of people might be interested in history, but it's not a huge hobby for most people there. Okay, so if you want more practice, you can throw in lots of other topics. How interested are you in sports, music, movies, books, the environment, politics, you know, lots of different topics. So the next question we're going to look at is very, very similar, but there's a very big difference between interested and important. So have a think about that yourself. What do you think is going to be different in the way you answer this question? How important is music to you? So basically, if something's important, you need it. Yeah. If you're interested in something, you don't need it. So if you need music, it's part of your life. You're a musician. You play in a band. You know, it's your number one hobby. It's a huge, huge, huge part of your life. Again, for most of us, we love music, we like music, but we wouldn't say it's very important to us. So you might say something, music is very important to me because I'm a music student and I hope to work in music for the rest of my life. Of course, that's a fairly I've had taught a few music students who can say that. When I was at Shandong University in Weihai, I had a few girls. Hello, Tina, if you're watching. Yeah, who used to who was a piano student at university. So for these people, of course, you can say that. For most people would be something like this. I would say this. While I really enjoy music, I wouldn't say it's very important to me because I can still do most things in my life without it. You know, I have many other hobbies and many other things to keep me busy. And then, of course, the bottom end. Oh, music's not important to me at all. I mean, it's just something I like to listen to sometimes, but I almost never really spend money on music or go out of my way to listen to music. Okay, so like we just did before, 3 levels of answer. Very important. While I enjoy it, I wouldn't say it's very important to me, or it's not important at all, kind of thing. But once again, I think I have 3 for us to practice, and I've tried to choose different levels of answer here. So, your family. How important is your family to you? Okay, I'm really hoping nobody uses the last one. My family is not important to me because I don't care about them. Hopefully none of you have said that. I'm sure most of you have gone to the top one. Oh, my family is so important to me because if I didn't, if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't be here today. I love them a lot, and I spend, of course, all my holidays and most of my free time with my family. That would, of course, be the highest level answer. Don't go on too long about love. Oh, I love them so much. They mean so much to me. They're so special. You can just mention that of course, I love them very much, and talk about how you spend time with them, that kind of thing. But don't go on too long. I've had a lot of students answer that question: how important is family to you? And they spend a long time going down that path. How important is science to you? So for this question, most people would say, well, science isn't really that important to me. I mean, I know science is around us and it's important in the world, but it's not really important to me because, well, I don't think about science in my work. I don't think about science in my daily life. Of course, if you are a scientist or you are studying a science major, then yes, you might say it's important to you because of that. And I've had some people say science is very important to me because without everything in the world is science. That doesn't mean it's important to you, like not personally important to you. As I say, air is important. Well, yes, air is very important. That would be a silly question. But for most people, you're just going to say, well, yes, I know that science is important. Everything around us in the world is science. But it's not actually important in my life. Okay, I think this is the last question for this video. How important is English to you? So, of course, for this question, most of you are going to say, well, English is very important to me at the moment because I'm preparing for my IELTS exam and I'm planning to study in a foreign country where I will need to use English in order to finish my studies. So for that question, make it relevant to your life right now. Don't say English is important to me because I need English to study. It's a bit impersonal. You're not connecting the examiner to your life. So again, tie it back to what you are doing these days. So yeah, if you are watching this video, I assume you are taking the IELTS exam. If you're not taking the IELTS exam, thank you very much for watching all of this video, even though you don't need to. So for most of you, yes, you don't have good English, you don't get the score, you don't get to study abroad, your entire life will change in that situation. And that's kind of what you need to say. Well, English is so important for me. If I'm not studying English right now, I'm not going abroad to study. I'm staying in my hometown. I'm just studying at this university, doing accounting or something, and I'll probably live in the same boring life the rest of my life. But English can give me the freedom to study and travel abroad and have a much more interesting life. Alrighty, I have a feeling that's the last one. Let's find out. Let's have a look at the next slide. Yes. Okay, so that's all for this video. Thank you very much again. Now, at this point, I'm not going to make another video today. That's 4 videos I've made today, so 9 videos we have made, and hopefully you have watched 1 to 9 so far. What I'm hoping to do is to have lots of questions from you guys sent to the staff at our school. So there's a QR code and the phone number. Send the questions. If you're sending a message saying, I have a question for Gavin about the IELTS or his videos, let us know, because a lot of people phone this number and message this number. So let them know that this is my question to ask Gavin about the IELTS test for his next video, and then ask the question. Okay, so next time I see you, maybe I've had a haircut, we'll see. Thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.